Hi, my name is Glenda Jackson, and I want to share a supernatural event that happened in my family years ago for the glory of God. My dad was a minister by night and a butcher by day, and he would hold revivals at night. And revivals back then weren't weekend. Sometimes they lasted 6 weeks. And my dad would study, have his Bible at the butcher shop with him, and he was reading, and he got very excited about his message that he was going to be preaching at that night, starting a new revival in another town. And he worked 6 days a week, and he preached 7 nights a week. And so he wasn't paying attention when he was cutting, and he cut his finger off, index finger. And when he did, he took cheesecloth and was wiping down, and he didn't realize the finger was in the cheesecloth, and he threw it over in the sink. And then he put his hand in his pocket and walked down to the doctor's office. And he went in, and he said, the doctor said, "What has happened?" And he said, "Oh, I cut my finger off." And he said, "I am praying, and I'm waiting for my wife to come in, and I'm asking God to let her find where my finger is and bring it here." The doctor's office wasn't very far away, and so they worked together in the butcher shop. And so she had been at lunch, and she came back in, and she went over to the sink, and she saw his finger. So she realized what happened then. So she went to the doctor's office, and the doctor said, "What do you want me to do?" And he said, "All I need you to do is sew the finger back on." He said, "I can't. It's been off too long, and you'll get gangrene and lose your whole arm." He said, "No, all I need you to do is sew it back on. And my great physician is Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and he told me to come and have you sew it back on." So they made my dad sign a paper saying that they were not responsible for, they knew he was going to get gangrene, they said, and lose his arm. So they made him sign that they were not responsible. And my dad said, "That's fine. I'm not holding you responsible because I'm putting the responsibility on my other doctor now, and he knows what he's doing." So he sewed it back on, and my dad came back home, and they were preparing that night to go to the meeting. And my dad, when we got back home from the meeting, my dad was suffering very bad with the finger, in pain. And so I heard him crying out through the night, and I heard him saying, "Lord, if my dad was here, he would comfort me, but he's in heaven with you. If you're not going to heal me, comfort me." And so God began to take away the pain, and he got enough comfort to go back to sleep. And so this went on for a couple of days, and on the 3rd night, I never forget, I was 8 years old. We were getting ready to go to the meeting, and I could feel faith in the air. I don't know if you've ever felt faith in the air, but in the air it was an excitement, and it was so explosive. And my brother and sister, younger brother and sister, was going to get in the car, and I said to them, "Oh, the devil doesn't know what he's in for tonight." And so we got in the car, and when we got there, it was about 25, 30 miles away, the meeting. And when we got there, my dad was a kind of preacher, hellfire and brimstone, and he jumped around a lot and hit the pulpit. And when he hit the pulpit, the finger flew off and a brand new one came in its place. And everybody was just going crazy in the place, jumping, shouting. Revival broke out. And that's not the end of it, though. God had more in store. There was a paraplegic sitting in the aisle in his wheelchair. He was born that way, and that old finger flew off, hit him, and he flew out of the chair, totally healed, running around the church. And oh my, church lasted, revival broke out. People didn't even want to go home. We had never seen anything quite like this. But with my dad, there was never a dull moment. He walked in the supernatural, lived in the supernatural, and knew the supernatural. And that also was not the end of it. The revival was so intense, and his finger, God spoke to him and said, "I've given you the finger of God." And then the Lord spoke to him and said, "Remember in my word, Jesus cast out devils with the finger of God." And every time someone came in and they were possessed with the devil, his finger would start vibrating, and he knew that devil could not stay, and he would go touch them, and the devil, demons would come out, and the person would be totally set free and healed. And so many supernatural miracles started coming just out of that one episode. So this supernatural thing went on, and my dad went back to the doctor, and he showed, the doctor's name was Dr. Ward, and he said, "Look what the great physician did." And our doctor, Dr. Ward, couldn't hardly believe it. And he just was looking at my dad's finger, and he said, "I've never witnessed anything like this before." And he took pictures of it because he wanted to show other people. And when the doctors would get together, they would always talk about my dad's supernatural finger. And so I grew up in a household like that. And I'm telling you, you can have a supernatural in your life too. So I hope this has blessed you mightily. It has blessed me all of my life, and it's just as real today as it was back then. And because of that one testimony, many things happened at that revival. People were healed, the lame walked, the deaf ears were open, blind eyes open off of that one testimony. And we're going to see greater things. We're living in the most supernatural time, and we've been chosen for such a time as this. So get ready for the supernatural in your life today. Amen.